First glance at Burp tabs. Looking at Burp Suite's interface for the first time can be a little overwhelming. There's a lot going on there. It has lots of tabs, subtabs, and options because of the multitude of features it brings to our arsenal. But we will later understand that each tab's name accurately depicts the features it offers. Before you know it, you'll find yourself flying from tab to tab between the different functionalities. Now I'll briefly explain what each tab in Burp does. Later on in this course, we'll take a deep dive into each one. Dashboard. This is a rather new tab in Burp, added since version 2.0, that shows a broad overview of our project. In this tab, we can see current running tasks. You can pause tasks or stop them. In the Pro version, you can even add new ones. We also have an event log here, useful to diagnose errors. On the right side, the Pro version of Burp displays identified vulnerabilities discovered using its active scan or by the installed extensions. Target. In the Target tab, we can find an organized view of the requests passed through Burp. And we can also define the target scope here. This tells Burp to record only certain requests, helping maintain a clean and organized project. Proxy. The Proxy tab allows us to set up and execute HTTP request interception. We can view an ordered list of past requests here in the History subtab. And we can also configure Burp's proxy listeners. Intruder. The Intruder tab is an important part of Burp's automation features. This tool allows us to execute a series of requests in an automated manner in which it changes parts of the requests with a certain payload. We need to give it the base request, select the parts we want to alter, then select an attack type and some payloads, or just configure Burp to generate them for us automatically. Repeater. The Repeater tab is another useful feature of Burp, and it pretty much does what the name says. It replays or repeats HTTP requests. You'll find we're going to use this tab all the time. Sequencer. We can use the sequencer feature to analyze the quality of randomness in a sample dataset. What I mean by that is we can verify data that is meant to be unpredictable, like session tokens, password reset tokens, anti-sysserv tokens, etc., that this data is really unpredictable. Decoder. The Decoder tab is another commonly used tab. Despite its name, the decoder allows us to decode and encode data using several types of encodings. For example, URL, HTML, and base64, which are the most common encoding types used in web apps, but it can also do hex, octal, binary, and even gzip. Comparer. The comparer allows us to do word-by-word or byte-by-byte comparisons between two strings. I use this tab frequently when my manually edited requests don't work as expected. Extender. While Burp packs a lot of features, it also has a plugin system and a built-in app store. We can call these extensions or Burp apps. We can manage Burp extensions in the Extender tab. This is also the place where we'll be able to find the app store. And in the last subtab, we can find Burp's API documentation in case we want to build our own custom extension. Project options. The Project Options tab allows us to configure project-specific options like authentication and proxies, timeouts, how Burp handles redirects, TLS, key exchange and certificates, session handling rules. These are part of Burp's automation features. We can make Burp execute certain requests before each HTTP request we perform. For example, we can make it retrieve a certain cookie and add it to our session. We can get an authentication bearer token or a sysserv token, etc. A good thing to know is that you can also configure some of these options globally in the User Options tab. For example, authentication and proxies. User Options. The User Options tab allows us to configure global Burp options like authentication and proxies, TLS settings, Burp UI settings, and keyboard mappings. it's good to be aware of keyboard mappings, as it's faster to use a shortcut and you'll do things more efficiently.